What is up, guys? We're back getting some content in today. Today we have a medium-sized job. We got front brakes, front and rear differential drain and fill, transfer case drain and fill, and front pinion seal. So stick around. I'll show you guys pretty much how to do it. All right, car's jacked up. We're gonna start with the brakes. I'm doing it out here because this car is pretty much too long to fit in my garage. So we're gonna start with the brakes out here. Then I guess that's first thing in the morning we'll do the pinion seal. I gotta go get a puller, a 3-jaw like 6-inch puller to pull the yoke off of the pinion or whatever. So we'll go get that first thing in the morning and knock that out, but let's knock these brakes out at least for tonight, and then we'll start on the rest tomorrow. Cool, this side's done. If you ever have trouble breaking free these nuts or the bolts for the caliper bracket, I usually just put my wrench on it, just a normal wrench, ox end, and then take a hammer and smack the end of the wrench real hard, and usually it'll break free. These didn't give me too much of a pain, but I've been sitting kind of weird, so probably not doing any favors for my back. But let's go ahead and knock out the other side before we have to go get my roommate, and then like I said, tomorrow I'll start on the other stuff and show you guys pretty much how it's done. All right, I'll try and show you guys to the best of my ability what's going on under here. But basically there's a shield, just like a felt shield that goes right here. It's just held on by 4 little 8mm screw bolts. So you take that off, drop this down, then I'll get you up under here, and then you've got your drive shaft here held on by 6 10mm bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and take those out, and then I will show you guys what's next. But I think this is locked in 4-wheel drive, so I'm not going to be able to turn this, so hopefully I can get to these top ones pretty easily. And then I will take off these 4 15mm bolts here for the sway bar, and then drop it down out of the way just to have some more space to work with, and then I'll bring you guys back. Okay, like I said, drop the 2 15mm from this side, 2 15mm from that side, and the whole sway bar comes out of the way. Give you some more room, drop your drive shaft out of the way, then you've got your flange here. And what I did was I took a paint marker and I marked my my pinion or yoke shaft here, marked the nut, marked it all the way down, marked it onto the pinion or onto the flange as well. I'm just going to feel how much play it has, feel what kind of resistance it has, so that when I put the nut back on, I can adjust it properly to set the preload on this. I think this is a 27 or 26mm nut here. I've got a 27, so I'm going to try that first. So we're going to take the nut off, and then we're going to get our 3-jaw puller and pull this flange off. So I'll show you guys that here in a second. Okay, so as you guys saw, I had to readjust or reconfigure my 3-jaw puller because it was a little too long at first. Didn't pull it all the way off the splines, but got it readjusted, got it pulled off, and as you guys can see, it's leaking pretty good from that seal. So we're going to pull that out, replace it with the new one, and put it all back together. Pretty straightforward. So getting the old seal out is kind of a pain, but it's not too bad. Just kind of work your way around the edges and pry it out. A seal puller would work ideally, but I don't have one of those at the moment, and I kind of just made it work because time is money. To get the new seal in, really all you got to do is just kind of hammer lightly around the edges till it's fully seated, and you should be good to go. Now let's pretty much just put it all back together the way it came out, and this part's pretty much done. Okay, so I tightened these down. Torque specification is 41 foot-pounds according to all data. It's going to be really hard to torque them down, so you're going to have to hold your drive shaft with something, or put the parking brake on, or figure out some way to hold your drive shaft while you torque them, or otherwise it'll just spin. So I torqued these down to 41 foot-pounds. Let's go ahead and put the sway bar back on. And if you've got somebody to hold it for you, that's even better. But I don't, so we're gonna have to do this. Let me grab the nuts so I'll have them ready. 2 over here. I got those nuts started. All right, let's do the other side, and this will be ready to put back together. Just put that shield back on and we're done. Just really quick, always make sure you clean up your area really well. You guys can see it was leaking pretty bad before. So I'm gonna clean this up really good with brake clean. That way when I bring it back from the test drive, I will know if it's still leaking or if we need to reseal it. I forgot to mention a little bit of RTV on the inside of the new seal is never a bad option. So just put a really small thin layer of RTV around the inside of your new seal, and it'll help you with leaks. After you spray a ton of brake clean and you're under a car and everything, my uncle would always say, "You got you one of them free ones." Just like when you stand up too fast, it's called getting one of them free ones. All right, guys, on to the transfer case service. I'll show you guys this the best as I can, but basically same area. Right under here, let me get my light on it. So you got your fill plug here, your drain plug here. The fill plug's kind of a pain in the butt to get to, but I have a special tool that I'll show you guys what I'm going to use to fill it back up. Always break your fill plug free loose first. If you break your drain plug free loose, drain all your fluid out, and then realize you can't get your fill plug out, then you've got to drive it somewhere or deal with it with no fluid in it until you can figure out how to get that fill plug loose. So always make sure you can get your fill plug loose first and then drain. So let's go ahead and do that. So here's the special tool I was talking about. It's really basic, just a one-way pump. So I'm going to stick one end in the fluid, the other end in the transfer case, and we're going to fill it to the best of our abilities. Ford calls for 1.45 quarts for drain and refill. So I bought 2 quarts here. It calls for Mercon L4 or L5, LV, whatever you want to call it, LV automatic transmission fluid. I would recommend using this stuff and not just regular ATF, because with all the electronics and crap in the new transfer cases, you want to use the right fluid and not burn anything up. So we're going to put this stuff in there. I'll show you guys filling it here in just a second. I'm going to wait for this to drain a little bit more, but this is the stuff I'm going to use. Other than that, to break those drain plugs free, all you needed was a regular 3/8 inch ratchet. Easy enough. Eventually. Okay, last but not least, we've got the rear diff. This takes 75/90 or 80/90 or 75/85 gear oil. You can get it from the dealership, but you're probably going to pay a lot more for the specific one. So I just got STP regular gear oil. This should work just fine. 85/90, just a little bit heavier weight. Not a big deal. Come under here, I'll show you guys what you got to do. Pretty much the same thing as the transfer case. You gotta, like I said, pretty much the same thing as the transfer case. Get my pan out of the way. So you got your drain plug right there, and I was looking everywhere up here up top for the fill plug and I couldn't find it, and I realized the fill plug is actually, I think it's on this side. Let's see. It's on this side of the transmission right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's right there. Easy enough. So like I said, you always take your fill off first, then I'll take off my drain. We'll drain it for a little bit and fill it up pretty much the same way. Except this one, instead of taking a specific amount, you basically fill it up until it dribbles out of the fill hole. Sorry, I pointed at the drain hole, but until it dribbles out of the fill hole. So let's do that, and we'll be done. Last thing on the agenda, they said their third brake light wasn't working. I just tested it, none of the bulbs were working. I bought 2 bulbs, so there's one in that one and one in that one. Anyways, how to get it off. There's 2 screws up here. One goes in that hole, one goes in that hole, just regular Phillips screws, they hold it in. And then you've got this plug that goes into this side of the strip. And then you've got your wiper fluid nozzle or hose that plugs in right there to your wiper nozzle, your fluid nozzle on the back side. You just pull that off. This whole thing comes out. And then this is kind of a pain in the butt, but you need to, it sets in this red housing. It clicks in with like 6 or 7 little plastic tabs, and they are a pain in the butt to get out. So you need like a mini screwdriver, or multiple mini screwdrivers would be ideal. And there's one here, same on the other side, one here, and then one on each side. So there's one there and one there. You kind of have to pry them all out at the same time, and this whole strip will come out. Then you can replace your bulbs. I don't know why they didn't just hold it in with like 2 little screws or easier pop clips or whatever, but I'm gonna replace these bulbs and we should be good to go. And we'll take the Expedition for a test drive, and then if everything checks out, we should be good to send her on her way. So appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully any of this information helped you guys. Like I said, I'm going to be bringing you guys along for a lot of the jobs that I'm doing, so stay tuned. Maybe the vehicle that you're working on will be on the channel at some point. Like I said, I appreciate you guys watching. Like the video if it helped you. Subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me out, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.